Hi, this is Barbie, and this is episode number 3 of the Real Talk podcast. Today, let's talk about you. Why not you? There's no real reason that it can't happen for you too. And no matter what excuses, negative thoughts, or stops at the procrastination station you can come up with, you deserve your dreams just as much as anyone else. But here's the thing, you have to do the real work, the messy, face your own stuff kind of work, because only after that happens is when the good stuff shows up. I recorded this episode in my car because I was so pumped to get this going again in 2025. No need to wait for the perfect time. The perfect time is now. Just get it done. It's time to believe in yourself as much as I believe in you. Let's get started. I'm so glad you're here. You're listening to the Real Talk podcast, a place for you to come and learn things about the real stuff that you're going through. Not the bright, shiny stuff we see on everyone's feeds, but the gritty, messy parts in the middle that need to be heard to heal. You matter here, and you're not alone. I care about leveling up and helping you do the same. Whatever leveling up means to you, whether that's in business, performance, or parenting. Let's get started. Hey, you guys, I'm back. And the Real Talk with Barbie podcast is something that's been taking the back burner for 2024, but let's not kid ourselves. That was a really long decade of a year. But I'm back, and the first topic I want to talk about in 2025 is why not you? Why not you? You are just as capable, just as strong, just as beautiful and handsome and wonderful as the person sitting next to you on the bus or at the red light on the road. There's no reason that you can't have what you want just as much as the person across the street or sitting across the table from you. Every one of us has the same amount of minutes in a day, same amount of hours. And of course, while all our situations are very different, it's what we choose to do with our situations that makes us stand out from everyone else. And that doesn't mean that if your circle of influence has 2 people, it's less important than if someone's speaking to a stadium of 1 million. Your gift is yours, and your purpose is what you're here to do. Your job is just to figure out what that is. For me, I've known for a really long time that my purpose is to use my voice. And do I know necessarily what I'm doing or how to perfectly put together a podcast? No. I mean, I can take the courses, and I have, and I'm pretty good at making graphics. I do know that. But the part of being brave is when you just kind of say, you know what? F it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put my voice out there, and I'm going to try to figure it out as I go. Because it's just like, I don't know, if you started mowing the lawn. You could read all the textbooks and all the instructions that you want. Your dad probably told you how to do it when you were 10, but you're not going to be able to really kind of figure it out until you get out there and do it. Now, of course, when I tried to mow the lawn when I was 10, my dad didn't let me do it anymore because I wasn't that great at it, nor did I really have any desire to push it that much. So mowing the lawn might be a bad example for me, but all I know is that I have known that my purpose is using my voice. I know that when I talk, I make a difference and make people feel good about themselves. So why for the past year have I not really been doing it? And I thought maybe I would share a little bit about that, because that might help you out too. Well, I know that my purpose is using my voice. It's more just not being ready or feeling ready or thinking that I can do it as good as anybody else. And I've talked before in my podcast about looking up to people who are maybe 10 steps ahead of you. Obviously, I love Mel Robbins. She's my best friend. She doesn't really know that, but we are. And I'm sure some of you guys feel that way too. But she's really far ahead. So someone who's maybe a few steps ahead of me is what I look to for motivation right now. Do I know and want to get to the point where Mel is? And do I know that I can? Because I make people feel hey, you know what? We're friends too. 100%. But when we let ourselves get discouraged by people who are 100 steps ahead of us, or maybe already have a staff of 10, you got to put yourself apples to apples a little bit and give yourself a break, for God's sake. Just start, just the way that they did too. So for me, I was hey, falling into that kind of trap of, oh, well, it's not quite ready and I don't really have the stuff set up. And I know I can do it and I should, but I have to, work on career and paying the bills. And I have some really great things going on in my career right now, and I'm really excited about it. But this was taking the back seat because I think that a lot of times too, what we do is put the things that are important to us in the back seat and use the excuse of, oh, I have to pay the bills, or somebody's more important than me, or I have to feed, the pets or the kids, or my husband needs me to help work on his stuff. Those are the things that of course we need to do. It's life, but you need to carve out some time for you too. And to me, I think that's what I was doing. So the theme of today, why not you? Why can somebody else take that time for themselves and make their dreams happen? You can too. Even if it's just like an hour a week, that's an hour a week more than you were doing before. That's 52 hours in a year, 50 hours more than I did. And I'm not going to get that year back. Now I can sit here and kind of beat myself up and be like, oh my gosh, I'm such an idiot. I should have done that, which of course I do sometimes too, straight up. But then also thought maybe it just wasn't time. So we also have to give ourselves some grace and say procrastination sometimes isn't us being lazy. It's understanding that the universe lines things up, when they're right. And sometimes you have to learn some lessons and get some stuff out of the way so that you're ready to do the big things or do the next step. I talk to my husband Trevor about this all the time, that when big opportunities come, we need to be ready. Of course, you need to have your ducks in a row. And we can focus on, of course, having, your taxes done and your bookkeeping up to date. And of course, those things are what I mean. But they're also energetic lessons that we need to learn before you can be ready for the next big thing. So for me, I had a lot of work to do. I had some lessons to learn. I had to really spend the last year understanding that, hey, you know what? I'm just as capable as anybody else. And you are too, by the way. So once I started to reframe that, hey, you know what? It wasn't time. I had to spend some time rebuilding some things, rebuilding my confidence in certain areas. And then so when opportunities do come up and when we are ready, then hey, it's time. So I would encourage you to take a second and just say, you know what? You can't necessarily have it all at the same time. And a quote I heard a long time ago, you can have it all, just not all at once. And that's something I'm really bad for too. I have all these plans and goals and I know I'm capable of doing them, but just because they're not all happening right now doesn't mean they're not on the way. So I'm in my second marriage right now. Trevor's amazing. We have a lot of projects on the go. So are all the things lining up all at the same time? Not necessarily. Does that mean that they're not all on the way? No way. They're on the way, and they are for you too. So I just think it's really important for us to remember a couple things here. You're just as important as anybody else. When an opportunity comes up, don't let yourself say, oh, you know what? Like, it's probably better for someone else to take it. I'm not as good as Sophie down the way, or she should, she's better than me at it. If an opportunity presents itself in front of you, that means it's yours to grab. And it won't really show up unless you're ready. And in my experience, things come really fast when it's time. So today I was chatting with Gary Vee, and I'm like, not joking, you guys. On my Instagram, I was contacted by somebody who said they were on his staff. And hey, you know what? We're reaching out to people, and Gary Vee wants to chat with them more on the side. And of course, I, being skeptical, was like, absolutely not. No way. It's probably some bot. But you know what? You don't know if you don't try. So I've been chatting back and forth. And you know what? I think it is him. And even if it's not, it has given me the motivation to get my butt back on here talking, because he's said to me there may be some speaking spots open for his VCon this year. And you know what, guys? I'm doing it. I'm going to go to that thing and I'm going to speak. But when I do, I got to be ready. So the opportunity presented itself, and I can either just be like, hey, you know what? Like, I could never do that. I'm not ready. Or you know what I am going to do is I'm going to walk the walk, and I'm just going to jump right back on here literally right now and start talking so that I'm ready and my podcast is ready to go when he has something to say. Hey, this is Barbie and she has a podcast and I'm going to be ready to talk about it. And you know who's going to be there right there with me? You. You're going to be there because you've been here since day one. And I only had 3 episodes at the beginning of this year. And now I'm adding another one. And I'm going to keep adding another one. And I'm going to keep talking to people and using my voice because I can be that person too. And so can you. And by doing this and sharing my story and being open and being brave, because this is actually sounds insane now that I'm saying it out loud, then I want you to take it and be like, hey, you know what? She's a little bit nuts. And maybe I can be a little bit nuts with my dreams too. It doesn't matter whether your dream is to build birdhouses or be a kindergarten teacher or speak to stages of millions. You can totally do it. If people like Mel Robbins or Oprah or other people can do it, why can't you? You are not different than anybody else. And you can take that in negative or positive. We're all human. We have the same energy. We're living in the same universe. And we all have different talents that are super amazing. I mean, there could be some people that would be like, oh my gosh, I would totally barf if I had to speak on stage at something like that. And you know what? That's not your dream. That's cool. Gives more room for people like me. I'm just joking. I want to be that person. I want to be on that stage. I'm missing being up there and I want to get back up there again. So the only way that we can do that is be ready for when opportunities come up. We can sit around and say, oh, you know what? If I won $1 million, I could do so much. Well, yeah, but you know what? You're not going to get that money until you're ready. And the past few years have really taught me a lot with that. So I have all these dreams. I know I can do them, but I just felt so blocked and so stuck. And feeling blocked and feeling stuck is what made me learn the lessons. It made me do the work. I had to. So then now when I'm breaking out of it, or at least I feel like I am, I can use that as a trampoline to be like, hey, you know what? I can use my voice even more now. I'm ready. I got all that weight off my shoulders. It feels like I have. But the only way I could do that was to do the actual work. And that's what I'm going to talk about in this year for sure. So when we say, hey, you know what? Why not you? Why not me? You can do it, but you need to be able to be willing to do the work. So when the opportunities come up, when they show up in front of you, you're ready. You can't just expect things to drop on your lap. And we need to learn how to do the work. Now, the question is, what work to do? There's so much work out there. We have to pay bills. We have to, pack lunches and drive kids to school and work on our career and do the grunt work to be able to climb up the ladder in corporate. You have to do all that stuff. And if it's going in the right direction, then that'll make the opportunities appear for you. So the trick is figuring out what direction that is and doing things for other people and doing things because you think you should, or it's the best way to do it, or all those fake things that you know in your gut when you're doing it. You know when you're doing something for the wrong reasons. I've been there a million times where you're doing it for other people. You're doing it because you think you should or because it'll make someone else happy. And then what happens? You just keep it all inside and you lose your mind and snap. That's going the wrong way. So we can learn all these lessons together and I'm in. I'm totally in and I'm ready to talk and use my voice and have some guests on here. They're going to make you understand that you're just as important as everybody else. Your voice matters. You matter. And let's do it together. So, hey, 2025 is going to be a great year. 2024, we learned some stuff. And whatever your stuff is, I know you went through it too. But 2025 is going to be great. And let's do it together. All I know is that you're just as important as anybody else. So why not you? Let's go. Thank you for listening to the Real Talk podcast with Barbie. This is the place for you to come and learn things about the real stuff that we're all going through. Make sure you check out the show notes, links to social media, and information on any guests that we had on the show. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so glad you came.